this is a house of cards. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Road to the Rockies, episode 5. We've really been working on this thing for 8 or 10 weeks already. It feels like it, but what we have in front of us here is almost all of the body panels to make what is either a 911 or a VW Bug. One or the other, we can't be sure yet, but significant progress has been made. All of the body panels minus the rear trunk and the windshield frame have been completed. This side panel over here came out so much better and so much lighter than this side. It's really making me think about redoing that side even more. We talked about it last week. I made this side way too thick, way too heavy. I bet it's 4 or more times as heavy as the other side. But for now, I'm just gonna kick myself over it and keep going. Now, in the back here, you see this big blue insert. That is the silicone plug, which is for the rear deck, which combines the rear trunk lid as well as a little portion of the panel that will go above it. This big flat area here is not something that will be a finished panel, at least I don't think, unless I leave it and incorporate it and, something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but in my actual design, it wasn't intended to be there as far as a finished body panel. Now, this is the silicone portion of the mold, which means that to make this, I had the actual mold to pour it into, and it's over here. It is right here, and it currently actually has the carbon fiber body piece in there, but the resin is not quite cured yet. I had this in the garage overnight, and it's just too cold here for this to set up properly in the 24-hour window, which I think that it's supposed to cure in. This is a different resin than I had used for some of it, but it's the same resin that I've used for at least this fender and this side so far. So 48 hours is probably a little bit better than 24 hours as far as all of these parts coming out of the molds, but that's fine. So I'm going to leave this in here, even though it's not under compression or anything like that. I don't think that that's an issue, but we're just going to wait to pull it out of this part of the mold until then. I will say that applying the regular turtle wax for a mold release has been working really well. I've been just brushing it on with a chip brush. Just nice coats in there, and the parts have been popping right out of the mold. The parts have not been finished any further. Yes, these have been sanded here and half the hood, but this entire side is still just pretty much just right out of the mold. I have trimmed them roughly, not to exact shape or anything like that. This side's been sanded to about 600 grit. And let's see if I can spin this around with these panels, which are just like taped and resting on this chassis. There you go. This side, basically the finish right out of the mold. So the body panels are not sitting in the proper place. They actually would be rotated up and they'll sit about there. Once we get this piece out of the mold, I can then really start thinking about getting all of the panels bonded together once I get the sanding done. And that's going to be my goal for the next video. Get everything nice and sanded. And I think what I'm going to do is take and 3D print some jigs to put the body panels into and then bond them together. That way they sit within the jigs, held in the perfect position, so I can bond them and not have to do this fiddling around and stressing about things not lining up properly. I'm gonna just eliminate that the best I can, the most overcomplicated way I can, just to make sure that it's right. As I mentioned, these are all just resting on here as I pick them up. It's duct tape. It's black duct tape holding most of this thing together. But underneath, I haven't done much to this as far as any differences since the last time you saw it. All of my focus has been on just head down, get the rest of the body panels made. It was a hill that I just had to get myself over. But now that we're gonna have the body in like a really close to ready or done state, that's gonna get me excited to get it bonded, get it sitting on the chassis, and finalize the mounts on how it's going to attach to this. Brandon, who's one of my coworkers, he helped with the initial chassis design on this, and we were discussing how we were going to get the body mounted onto it. You know, I was kind of thinking this understructure that would help hold the body panels all together, and then that would have mounts on it that would mount to the chassis. But one of the ideas that came up was making the sliders come out and through and the bumpers come out and through, and then actually attaching to the outside of the body, like the rocker area, and having those parts then attached to other bases underneath. Same with the bumper mounts and things like that, so that those pieces really are just firmly attached to the body, and the finished outside shape of this body is what I've been controlling with the mold design. The inside can kind of fluctuate in thickness, and it's not consistent, or at least not perfectly measured consistent. So I don't know how I would have to adjust that, where the outside, I know exactly where it should be or where I want it to be, and I can go from there. So I think that that is going to change how I do things a little bit, but it's going to make it easier to not have to like guess and adjust as we go. And it may also make it easier if I want to redo this side panel, that I can still use all of the exact same mounts because the outside of the parts will still be in the same place. Another bonus from something that's been bugging me a little bit, as I may have mentioned 9 or 10 times. As we get the body done and then get to start worrying about bumpers and sliders, the other big part of the whole project is the cage, because the cage is going to be like the other half of the look of the body. The 911 without a top doesn't look as 911 as I would like. So what I've started to do in CAD already is get the cage design, the profile, the bars, and the landing places for all of the tubes planned out ahead of time, because I'll integrate those into things like the slider mounts and all of those, so that I minimize the additional pieces that will be needed, but I key the tubes in very specifically to how I think and where I think that they should be. The cage design is going to require radius bends for the roofline because I want to follow the 911 roofline. And as you'll be able to see here in the screen recording that I'm going to show you, the radius, I'm going to minimize how many tubes I have to radius bend. I want the, A to C pillar all to have the proper look to it. And then we are going to have some radius hoops that go from side to side to give it that rounded bubble top that a 911 should have. And I think that this is fairly doable without being absolutely overboard or too difficult to do without, anything crazy as far as tools go, because Matt and I are both going to have to construct this. He has different tools than I do, but I think that I'm keeping it fairly reasonable. One detail that I did do that is a little bit extra as far as not really required, but done for style, is the double B pillar. Kind of giving it that look of the backside of the door, or almost like the Targa would have, but it's a small detail. I think that it'll be worth it in the end though, just a little extra detail there. I am going to try and hug the A pillar as close to the windshield frame that I can once that's constructed also. That is the last mold that I have to design for carbon fiber, that windshield frame, and then we also have to figure out how to fill it with a windshield that looks appropriate, but that's a bridge to cross later. Finishing, like the finish of the body panels, is top priority. I need them all to be wet sanded down and as smooth as possible so that they are to the state where I don't feel like I'll need to be doing a bunch of wrestling around with them or trying to get into nooks and crannies, because once they're to that point, then I'll feel confident bonding them, and we'll do paint and clear coat all at once when it's already assembled. I think that's going to be the easiest way to go for me. Another big part of the design, of course, that we discussed last time is the steering setup with the remote located servo, the bell crank design up here. I have no concerns with that whole setup. I think it's going to work out really well. I do have to work out some of the details with how it's going to actually be fabricated, but I got a little bit of a head start on that this week. Ordered from McMaster some precision ground 5mm rod. Precision ground just means that the tolerance on this is very tight, and it's exactly what I need to fit a 5mm ID bearing. So I can use 5x11s, or I could use 5x10s, or I could go all the way up to like 5x14s, depending on how the mount needs to be fabricated. My plan is to go pretty rough with this just because I want to keep it simple to fabricate. And that's going to be a little bit interesting, but my plan is to take and cut a section of this to be the bell crank post that will go between the upper and lower servo horns. And I'm going to have the servo horns laser cut, and then they're going to be welded directly onto this rod. Now, the problem with that is that I'll be welding those arms on, and I'm gonna have to put the bearings on before I do that. So we're gonna put the servo horn on one side, or the laser cut plate, weld it on, then we'll slide the bearings on and we'll weld the other side. We can leave some gap in there so we won't be welding directly against the bearings, and we can cool them while we weld just to make sure that we don't melt shields or anything like that. I'm not that concerned about it. It's not obviously the way I would do it if it was a production build, but this is for a custom project. This is gonna make it simple and easy to do, yet, bearing supported. So that's my plan at this point. And those bearings will just be supported in like a clamping type method, similar to like how an axle housing and a diff cover go over each other on like an AR-44. So should work out just fine. But that pretty much covers what we got done on the Class 1. And that halfway rhymes. So I feel like it's a good point for that project to be set aside for the moment. Now, Class 2 and Class 3. This is kind of the closest representation to my Class 2. And talked about it in the first episode a little bit, but my plan is to take a VS410 Phoenix body and narrow it, just like I did here. I took about 30 millimeters out of the center of this body and then put it back together. That's my plan. Again, I want to go that route, do the same type of thing with a cage that comes out of the top, and that will allow me to do the interior on the inside. I'm gonna go with a 4-seat interior since it's an extended cab. That'll allow me to go with a Lexan body, but be able to get the points that I need with 2 rows of seats. I'll be doing something for the rear bed as well so that I can get drop bed points, just trying to maximize everything that I can to get all of the points that I need in Class 2. I need to get started on that as well, just for a little bit of peace of mind. I need to get the axles built, the electronics sorted, those things on the way. I could probably get the chassis made and just start moving forward on it a little bit. I'll feel a little bit better when I've made some progress in that area as well. And then Class 3. The only thing that exists for Class 3 is a general idea of kind of what I want to do. My plan is to use the Mon 14 body, the ABS, this ABS body. This thing is super thick, made from ABS, and painted in a super awesome theme. Moose Jaw knocked this one out, and I feel like this will be the perfect time to use this one. I'm going to 3D scan the clear body that I have of it. That will allow me to get the body into CAD without too much work, and then I can start planning around it. But I haven't really decided what I'm gonna do for the drivetrain yet. I'm gonna go with the Hyrax LP tires. Those are the new Proline 5.25 inch 2.2 tires. So a little bit taller than what I'm used to. So I feel like maybe I should get a little bit wider track width. I don't know if I want to run Capras though. So I'm still up in the air there. This one has me more torn than any of them. And maybe it's because of the size of this body. My other trucks obviously are both gonna be running VFD transmissions, but this one, maybe I go a different route. Maybe I go with something small like one of the deluxe transmissions that I've got in a couple of other builds. Super compact, allows me to really open up the choices for the drivetrain. If you've got some unique ideas for what to choose for the drivetrain in here, I don't want to go too wide. I don't know that I want to use Capra, but I don't know. Drop your thoughts below on that one. So by the next episode, my hope is that my body is 100% glued together and finished body panels. If I decide to redo that driver's side panel, hopefully that is done and bonded to the rest of the chassis at that time as well. I'm leaning that way. Trying to modify that existing one by like sanding the inside that's not a reality. That would be way too difficult to try and sand thickness out of it or anything like that. The easiest way is just let the printer print, make new molds, prep, and redo. Wouldn't be that big of a deal. It's like 30 plus hours of printing, and that's the only delay, really. But by the next episode, my plan is that this thing really looks like a 911. We're gonna start getting into some details about it and some extras here and there, and it could start being pretty interesting. Just about to jump into April though. That means we have April and May left, and that's it. 2 months goes incredibly fast. Even with the amount of time that I've been putting into this, time flies and progress doesn't always look all that impressive. Only showing you a handful of new body panels this week feels like a major letdown for me, but it was actually a tremendous amount of work. I'm feeling a little re-energized after going through just body panel after body panel, mold making after mold making, and just waiting for resin to cure day after day. The next detail that I'm about 90% complete with is the flat 6 twin turbo rear engine. I think the last thing I have to do is modify the oil pan so that it doesn't collide with that rear truss, and it's full stuff. I have to modify the chassis now to work around it. I want to make sure that I can, get up and around or have the heads stick through the sides of the chassis just to make sure everything's shown off appropriately, because that is number one priority. I'm thinking about putting that flat 6 engine model up on my website in case any of you are after such an oddball part as, a flat 6 twin turbo engine that's actually pretty large. But maybe a couple of you are after it. Maybe you just want to print it for a desk toy or just to join in as part of the fun of watching this build progress. But if you're interested in that, let me know. Maybe I'll get that kind of wrapped up and uploaded, and you can play around with it as well. But if Matt and I are going to make it to the finish line with both of these cars, trucks, crawlers, whatever, I need to get back to work. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this episode, even if it wasn't as full of visual progress as I wished it would be. But hit the like button if you did. Subscribe if you're not already, and hit the notification bell so you see these videos as soon as they get uploaded. Go watch the rest of this series if you haven't caught any of it yet. And with that, thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.